Thank you everyone for coming today. Welcome to today's Leaders of Today webinar series. This is the second season, well, the second session, sorry, of this Leaders of Today annual series. This session is especially meaningful for us as we celebrate Workforce Development Month this September, which is a time dedicated to recognizing and investing in the skills, training, and opportunities that empower individuals to thrive in their careers. At IYF, we are all committed to equipping young people with the skills they need to succeed in an ever-changing world. And well, workforce development has always been at the heart of our mission and plays a critical role in building more resilient, inclusive, and prosperous communities. So today we're diving into a history of resilience, leadership, and transformation from one of our own. Katia Moreno Hernandez started as an administrative assistant at IYF's Mexico office just 6 years ago. Since then, she's risen to become Deputy Program Director, successfully leading major initiatives like Conectadas Sureste, networking, and others to empower youth across Latin America. In times of unprecedented challenges, Katia has navigated obstacles with grit and grace. She's learned essential skills, found balance in a demanding role, and continued to drive impactful change. As we get to hear from Katia herself, we'll explore her journey, the lessons she's learned, and what it takes to stay focused on the mission while juggling the demands of life. As always, I encourage everyone to engage actively, ask questions, and reflect on the insights Katia has to offer as she reflects on this stage of her professional career. So, first of all, and before I give the word to Katia, as a bit of an introduction to our most esteemed guest, I would like to touch on some aspects of Katia's background. She holds a Bachelor of Arts in Accounting from the National Autonomous University of Mexico, uh, also my alma mater. She has also has a certificate in Business English from the International Language Academy of Canada in Toronto, and a diploma in strategic planning from University of Anahuac. As part of her professional experience, she has worked in both private and public sectors, holding various administrative, operational, and logistical roles in both national and international organizations. So, without further delay, let's welcome Katia Moreno and sit with her to find out what it takes to be and to become a leader. So, Katia, if you want to give a few words, if not, that's okay, and we'll begin with the conversation.
Hi, everyone, and thanks, Per and the emerging leaders for the invitation. I'm really thrilled to be with you here today, and I hope for those who are joining this conversation to find it valuable. Thank you.
Thank you, Katia. Okay, so um, Katia, well, first of all, welcome to Leaders of Today. I want to begin by acknowledging the remarkable journey you've had at the International Youth Foundation. From your early days as an administrative assistant and now overseeing a portfolio of critical projects, your path has been nothing short of impressive. I know our colleagues are eager to hear more and will have plenty of questions when we open the floor for a broader discussion, which we'll do at the end of this conversation, of course. But first, and this is my very first question, I would like to know how you started at IYF. What were you doing before joining the organization, and why did you decide to join?
Thanks, Per, again. And well, as you just mentioned in the introduction, I have experience in government institutions, in the banking sector, and in private companies. In fact, just in my first job in my early 20s, I worked specifically in accounting. And all my other experiences were mainly in high level administrative tasks, from being responsible for all the deliverables and logistics for government boards board meetings to negotiations with retail companies. Uh, Before joining IYF, I worked from home for at least 5 years. And while it worked very well for me, especially since my daughter then was almost 5 years old, there was no room for growth. And I think at that point, I realized I was in a comfort zone that, of course, I needed to leave behind. And if I wanted to grow, I needed to make something different in my life. In my life, I was at that moment 35, and I knew I had to move on. So IYF came as an opportunity to challenge myself in a new sector. I remember reviewing its mission and values and thinking how great it would be to join an organization where what you do truly matters and can really impact people's life. And that's what I was looking for in my professional life. And at the end, it turned out to be the place where I found my true passion and where I discovered my vocation.
So that's very interesting. We're gonna touch on that later, but I'm pretty sure that the IYF you joined 6 years ago is not the same as it is today. So uh, just hearing what you just said about finding your passion at IYF, I'm wondering, was something especially challenging when you first started, or there something that excited you or inspired you specifically from those early days and months at this new job?
Yes, as I mentioned before, this was my first experience in the social sector. And I think despite having worked for an international company, we didn't have communication with HQ offices or with country offices. So I was really excited about the opportunity for intercultural communication and to learn more about organizational culture. And of course, to acquire new abilities and skills different from what I was used to. And for example, I remember my first days here where I encountered some challenges with technology and the use of platforms. I think at that time I was barely familiar with Skype, but here we use GoToMeeting, and I'm sure some of our emerging leaders don't even know what is this or what I'm talking about. Anyway, that was a new world for me, and I really had to work on my digital skills.
I see. Yeah, those are the most challenging as you get into a new organization. And talking about that, I believe that sometimes opportunities for growth are a combination of many things, such as talent, timing, a healthy amount of grit, among other things. So when you mentioned this very early on challenges, such as managing platforms that are, new to us as we enter a new organization or a new sector, can you share any moment where mentorship or professional development played a critical role in your advancement?
Sure. In the case of mentorship, a few years ago, I had the fortune to participate in Google's Accelerator program, which offered training of various topics to organizations selected during the Google Impact Challenge. And I remember there was one session in particular that had a lasting positive impact on me. It was the I Am Remarkable initiative. And for those who aren't familiar with I Am Remarkable, this is an initiative mainly focused on women with the objective for themselves to recognize their value and also their achievements, like both in personal and professional lives. And it also helps to confront the imposter syndrome and also promotes the participation of women in leadership positions. And in this session, I was able to reflect on my achievements and the experience gained over the years, not only at IYF, and to become like aware of my potential, which of course helped me to become more self-confident and to feel empowered. And in other terms, I also want to mention that I really found the internal processes of IYF, the performance review process and exercise, we have each year as a great opportunity to foster clear and open conversations in a safe environment. I think that if we use wisely this exercise, it can help us to identify not only our achievements, but also areas of opportunity that could be key then or to advance to another position.
I see. So as you identified these areas of opportunity as well as your strengths and what you achieved, not only at IOAF, but over the years as your professional career has expanded, when did you sense it was the time to reach for something higher and decide to apply for another role inside IOAF? Like, do you remember how that moment played out?
Um, yes. Well, my transition to program coordinator like happened soon after joining IYF. And at that time, a big program in Mexico was looking like to fill that position. And I felt that at that moment, like with enough confidence about the understanding of administrative processes, and I had demonstrated skills such as organization, attention to detail, and time management to take a step forward. And as program coordinator, I began to get involved in more complex budgetary activities, which, by the way, I really enjoy, and to develop a deeper understanding of the project as a whole and started to think like more strategically. And as I delved deeper into the programs, I was able to kind to identify key moments and opportunities to address challenges and also to develop supporting information and documents that, without knowing, eventually help my supervisor to make informed decisions with data firsthand. And I'm certain, I'm certain that curiosity and proactivity played a big role in my career growth. I always wanted to know more and still want to know more and go deeper. Um, Not just in operations, but in the entire process. And I think over the time, this mindset gave me the confidence to make decisions that benefit the program. And I think that was the breaking point for me.
Well, first of all, shout out to people who enjoy budget activities. My respects. Uh, I mean, but I want to dig deeper into something you just said about curiosity and the skills that have taken you from where you started to where you are now. And I just want to know, for example, as part of your leadership journey at IWF, and this is part of what you just said, but which skills do you think have been the most essential to your growth so far?
I think that adaptability has been essential, like being able to pivot and adjust a mindset and strategies in response to new challenges and new responsibilities. Empathy, for sure. Uh, like leading with empathy has helped me to build a strong and trusting relationship with my team and also with partners. I think strategic thinking, like meaning being able to see like the bigger picture and to anticipate for future challenges. And the last but not the least is will be effective communication. I believe that clear and open communication helps to align the team with our goals, to encourage collaboration, and also to make sure everyone feels like heard and valued. I mean, we all have our own point of view, and the key may be to share ideas and find solutions that could work for everyone.
As well as you already mentioned, these skills have led you navigate from all these years to different positions, to different responsibilities, and it has led you, adapt and be a problem solver, which is something I guess, invaluable in these times. But I'm pretty sure that in your 6 years at IWF, there has been no shortage of obstacles to overcome and problems to solve. So I want to know if there is one situation or one problem or one obstacle that has meant the most to you. What lessons did it leave you with, this problem, and how did you manage to conquer it?
Yes, I think one one of the most significant challenges I faced happened like about a year or a year and a half ago. At the time, we were dealing with a situation where the implementation of two programs was at risk due to delays in donor confirmation. And this put us in a very difficult position, especially when it came to negotiating with our implementing partner, because it was a really tough time and moment to try to deploy all the intervention. And it involved about 6 months of efforts, like long hours and many days and nights spent finding solutions and trying to build
Wow.
strong relationships. And at last, we were able to achieve the goal. But I think that despite being an incredibly tough period, it was also full of valuable lessons. I learned that it's okay to ask for help when things aren't going as they should. I think it highlighted the importance of promoting mental health also for myself and for my team. And I realized the critical need to delegate and to recognize the contribution of the team involved. I understood also that it's valid and I think necessary to take a break and be able to acknowledge when you're feeling overwhelmed or burnout. And these lessons not only help us to navigate these difficult times successfully, but I think it was a reinforcement, about the importance of resilience, of teamwork, and of self-care in leadership.
Yeah, of course, I want to touch on the work-life balance just mentioned and the importance of health of mental health care and overall healthcare that you just mentioned so important. But I want to step back and about this, of course, this great effort you do sometimes, and we all do in our different programs and our different positions at IWF, where it seems like it's just long working hours and a never present feeling of stress about every single detail. But I want to know if there has been a time when you look back at something specific and said like, this is why I do what I do. So in these 6 years of experience at IWF, something has stayed with you in that way and has left you something like with a work philosophy of some sorts. Like a moment you said, this is why I work here.
Yes, there has been a lot. I think we are very fortunate to work in the social sector because although, as you mentioned, there is stress and pressure, there is a reason for it. And for me, the way we can impact the lives of the people we reach with our programs is worth all the effort. And I remember that just before the pandemic started, we had an in-person informative session for a Google project that was just beginning. And there was one participant who came with his mother. We noticed them, but didn't say anything at the time. Then the pandemic arrived, and we had to transition a previously planned like hybrid intervention to a fully virtual one. And finally, this young man, Christopher, enrolled in the course and began the training. As the weeks went by, we realized that Christopher was connecting to the sessions with his mother always by his side. And we later found out that he's deaf, and his mother was there in all the synchronous sessions to support him and to help him to communicate. We also later learned that he participated in the development of kind of a prototype of globes that interpret like sign language into oral or written language,
Wow.
something like sensory globes, and that he was also studying engineering. And for me, Christopher's story is definitely an example of resilience, of overcoming challenges, of motivation, inspiration, and also made clear like the very important role we have as parents in our children's lives, for sure.
Definitely, for sure. Man, that was a great story. Like this, that's an story that inspires, let's say. So let's fast forward for a bit. So Katia, as you may know, you're now Deputy Program Director, and you manage an almost unbelievable amount of programs and responsibilities that come with the job, of course. So how do you manage? Like you said before that the work-life balance is so important and taking care of your mental health and your physical health is important. But how do you manage to actually do so? Like how do you manage to have a healthy work-life balance?
That's a tricky one, Fer. Um, well, I start my day with a 1 hour workout, which helps me manage stress and anxiety and kind of sets a clear and fresh mind for the day to come. And to prioritize tasks, I rely on a to do list that I usually begin with the day with the smaller tasks before going to those that may require like more attention. And of course, if something urgent comes up, I focus on that. And I think time management is key, you know. And I'm also a mother to a 10-year-old daughter who, as you can imagine, needs time, attention, a driver also to take her to after school activities.
Of course.
And I try to make the most of my time while waiting for her. For example, making some phone calls, sending messages, reviewing maybe some pending tasks. And I also admit that maybe during some meetings, I might be setting up the air fryer. And I would be lying if I said I close my computer at 5 p.m. every day. That
Well done.
that doesn't happen. However, I do prioritize like quality time with my family. And my afternoons might be spent playing Nintendo Switch or board games with my daughter. And on weekends, we enjoy doing activities together. We try to go hiking at least once a month, because this is an activity we love and that also helps maintain our mental health and to get closer to nature. And of course, I also try to frequently spend time with my family and friends. And of course, we know maybe not all the weeks are the same. I try to maintain this routine.
And it seems like a very well balanced routine. So healthy, so healthy. I'm kind of jealous right now, but you're totally right. The combination of all those things makes this work sustainable in the end because we cannot stay just glued to our computers day and night and just trying to get everything out. It's just impossible. So that's a really great insight. And I know we already talked about this, and we mentioned some of the skills you have gathered over the years. And I assume that right now, as you have this position, you have gained other skills and abilities as well. So if you had to sum up all your professional career so far, which skills, let's say a couple of skills that you would say these are the ones that has stuck over the years and have made the most different, that have marked the difference in my career, which ones will be?
Mm, I've always considered myself like a strong team player with solid time management skills. And I think these qualities have remained throughout my career. However, during IYF, I particularly developed three main skills like problem solving, analytical capacity, and networking. Um, Problem solving has become one of the most essential skills. Uh, Leading five projects at a time and overcoming various challenges has improved, of course, my ability to think critically and try to find effective solutions. And uh, for example, when speaking about data-driven decision making, of course, there is need for analytical capacity, and it it also helps in team leadership, you know. And I found that networking skills are really, really important to build strong relationships. It could be in or out the organization. I think that creating and maintaining connections could really open doors to new opportunities. And networking has helped me to collaborate with a diverse range of stakeholders. And this for sure has been crucial to the success of the programs I lead in IYF.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that that's like the basic toolkit, let's say, for a successful leadership, I guess. And I believe that it doesn't matter if you're program director or coordinator or whatever position you have. Those skills are just core skills, you know, to develop and then to take to everyone that surrounds you in your team. So I want to touch also after all we've talked already and the things we have mentioned, what would you say? What advice would you give to the next generation of leaders that are approaching their own growth opportunities? What would you say that will help them not just find those opportunities, but to seize on them and to get them?
I think first of all is to don't hesitate to ask questions. I think the more we ask, the more we learn. And by the way, greetings to the IFAM team in Mexico, who I ask a lot of questions. Um, And in this particular case, for example, with IFAM, their guidance has helped me to better understand like budgetary information and to make informed decisions regarding contracts and resource allocation. And I mean, I'm only speaking about IFAM, but for sure, I know every one of us has a lot of questions and we need to ask to learn. Um, the other thing I would say, like challenge yourself. I'm being honest when I say I don't particularly enjoy public speaking. In fact, if I had told my 15-year-old self that one day I would be here on a webinar sharing experiences in a language different than Spanish, I truly wouldn't have believed it. And what I mean with this is that you will encounter like challenges along the way, activities with which you may not feel comfortable, and it's going to be your choice, you know, to either pass or to face them, and just be aware of the impact these decisions could have on your professional life. And I think it's really important to consider how not developing certain skills or avoiding some challenges might limit future opportunities. And one other advice I always give my daughter when she's frustrated with an activity she hasn't mastered yet, and that I think it's applicable to everyone, is don't ever compare yourself with others. We are unique, and the moment for someone doesn't have to be the moment for everyone. So just work in your own goals, and that's it. Just maintain and be focused in yourself. Don't be comparing yourself with others.
I'm pretty sure she's taking some valuable lessons, and we all do. I mean, I have to recognize that if you told me that you are not comfortable with these kind of activities, I would not have believed you because you're doing so well. So I want to just say that. And well, as we wrap up this conversation, Katia, I just want to ask one more question before I pass the mic to our colleagues here. And I know you already touched on this, but I want to know like which of the activities you just mentioned is the one that you favor the most when you try to de-stress after a long day of work. And if you have another one, please share your secrets.
I was going to ask for that if I could change. Um, of course,
You
if
can
I
change, of course.
okay, of course, if I'm able to choose something different than playing with my daughter, I would say like making puzzles. I find them very, very relaxing. And but to be honest, I think taking a nap would definitely be my first choice for sure.
Oh, naps are just. I think we're getting the reaction on the chat. Just tell us everything. I know here are some pretty strong nap teams over here. Uh, but yeah, thank you for all this valuable knowledge. And I don't want to take more time because we're gonna have our questions. So please, everyone, if you want to ask, feel free to open the mic or just leave the question on the chat and I'll read it for you. So I'm gonna give us, I don't know, maybe around 10 or 15 minutes, if that's okay. And if not, well, um, I'll just make a few remarks, but I'll leave the floor open.
Hi everyone. So Katia, Katia was my boss, and I cried the day I left her team, and I did it in front of everybody in the Mexico office, which is not my proudest moment. But I cried for a reason, and I I mean, it's clear that you have had a very interesting trajectory with the foundation and you have grown into so many roles and now you manage 5 programs. So that, reflects a lot of mastery and all your skills and potential. But there is always, room to grow. And I'm curious to like learn, what do you think right now is your priority, um, to learn or to master to become, better at your job. Um, yeah, just wanted to know that. Yeah.
Thanks, Annie. And I have to mention that I cried too, and I'm also not that proud about that. Um, what's next? Of course, I have tons of things to still learn, and I think we have really good mentors in IYF. Of course, the part of negotiation and strategic proposals with donors, I would love to learn more about it. I have like some activities related to um, with Geo from proposals with USAID and so on. So I would love to learn and know more about it and understand how is the right way to make a proposal. Uh, I have experience with other kind of donors also and negotiations, but I think that is something that I would love to learn and that could give me like more skills.
Thank you, Katia. And if I can ask a second question, I would ask, how do you manage to oversee 5 different programs with like very different implementations? Does that overwhelm you? Have you found like any techniques to like kind of like be on top of all of them?
Yes, there's always a to-do list. And of course, you have to rely on your team. I have two great managers and two great teams that help with all the day-to-day activities and that let me kind of being concentrated in activities that may be more strategic, but the day-to-day, it's really based in their job. And of course, I'm side by side and I supervise, and I try to have like a close and clear communication with them, and to identify if we found, for example, some challenges or things that we think that may become a challenge, try to tackle them before they get to us. So I think it's a thing about delegating and relying on your team.
Thank you, Annie, and shout out to Katia's team if you're listening, and if you're listening later. Uh, Anyone else who wants to? Okay, go ahead, Judith.
Thank you. Hi, Katia. And hi, everybody. Well, first of all, I want to express my deepest admiration to you, not only because I have had the privilege to witness your amazing professional journey at IYF this 6 years, but also because I know from firsthand your deep human and feminist sense to face the life. That's something I really admire from you, Katia. And my question will be about leadership and oversee teams and colleagues. Sorry.
We lost Judith.
No, I
Ah,
think her dog became crazy, so
okay.
I'm
probably barking.
sorry
Go ahead.
to participate when I turn on my mic. So sorry. My question is about leadership and oversee teams and colleagues. Is there anything that you do now that you know now that you will have liked to know before? Speaking of being the leader for other people.
Mm, in my first experiences, job experiences, uh, I always had like this difficult uh, relation with colleagues, with women colleagues. I don't know why. And this is something that I will always say to my team, that I promise myself since then that if someday was becoming a supervisor, I will try to make things different and to try to change that way of thinking that it's really usual, I think, at least in Mexico, that women can't work together. So I would love that someone had told me that I was going to be dealing with this kind of things, but I I think until now I've been trying, and I'm really proud of having a team full of women, of strong women, and to be able to work and to communicate and to success together, you know. So yeah, I think that will be.
Thank you, Katia.
Thank you, Judith, for the question. We have anyone else? I see Felix telling Katia, you're an example for anyone in IYF. I admire you and I recognize all your trajectory. I am proud to call you colleague and friend, because he has to jump for another meeting, but still, thank you, Felix.
Thanks, Felix. Felix was my first supervisor. Well, it was Jorge first as admin assistant, and then was Felix.
We
And I
all learn
learned
from
a
each
lot
other.
from him, of course. A lot, a
Anna,
lot.
go ahead, Anna. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, Katia.
Hi, Anna.
Um, I know that you already talked about soft skills, specifically about networking, and that's something that I feel like I want to strengthen myself on the next steps that I take on my career. So I wanted to ask for some advice on how to foster healthy relationships, specifically with implementing partners and donors. And also, if you have any tips to start new relationships with potential donors or potential implementing partners.
Yes, Anna. I think that something that has worked for me to build a relationship is to try to maintain a communication. I mean, of course, you are not going to text uh, the partner like daily, but try to be in touch. Try to be as clear as possible in the communication, as close as possible. Uh, you don't have to be like always this square person, like just talk about the job. Maybe if you find like some interest that you can share, it will be like really beneficial also. And yeah, I think it's trying to build on that relationship. Like it, of course, it's not going to happen on a week, but it's something you had to do like constantly. But for sure, if you uh, live like 1 month or 2 months and 2 months and you try to communicate again, things for sure maybe could work, but not the way you may be looking.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. And that's a great reminder to treat every work relationship as a human relationship, right? Like we are humans after all. It doesn't matter where we work or what we do. We need that human connection all the time. So thank you for that insight, Katia. I'm watching there's someone else. Be shy. Jesus, go ahead. Go ahead, Jesus.
Hi, I'm sorry, I lost the unmute button. Hi, everyone. Thank you very much, Katia, for everything that you shared with us today. Just to point out that Katia was also my first supervisor when I entered IYF back in 2019. And I also cried on the privacy of my room. So thank you very much, Katia, for everything that you permitted me to learn from you, because low key, I still want you to supervise me, and I hope that one day that would happen. But still, I have a question for you in regards your transitions from one position to another, because you have experience like at least four transitions during your journey at IYF. And how do you manage to ease these transitions? I mean, when you spend so many years being a program manager and then you start to operate as program director, and some of those months even without program managers, when you already got your program managers, how do you complete that transition to your new position and also in your previous positions? I don't know if I'm clear.
Yes, Jesus. Someone once gave me an advice, and he told me, when you take new positions, you have to be aware, you have to change the way you think. So going from coordinator to manager was for sure a challenge, because I had to pay attention on different things, and being this like a person with or time management and organization, I wanted to be also making operational things, but that's something that was not going to work. So I rely a lot on the job descriptions. So I try to review the job descriptions, mine and with my supervisors, to understand what activities are their responsibilities, and what activities are mine. And of course, I I am a supervisor that I'm like always available if someone needs anything about me, and that makes me like try to think more on what I need to do than what others are doing. And the same happened when I transitioned from manager to director. And as you mentioned, uh, were like I don't remember, but maybe like 5 to 6 months that I hadn't managers in any of the programs. So I was a deputy director and manager, uh, but I try to keep all my team really organized, and that everyone knows what everyone has to do, and that's the only way I have been able to achieve and to tackle all the challenges I found on the way.
Thanks, Katia.
Thank you, Jesus. As we said, delegate, delegate, delegate. So important. So important. Just share the work. Oscar is telling us congratulations, Katia. You are a great guide for IYF youth for a trajectory in IYF and for your concepts of life and work. Of course, you also have my admiration. And Anna says, I'm so jealous of everyone that has Katia as a supervisor. Thank you both for the kind comments. Okay, so if anyone has another question, feel free to do so. If not, I think we can start closing the session. Just give a couple of seconds to see.
I just, out of curiosity, would love to ask Katia what has been the favorite program she has worked on in IYF and why.
Annie.
Oh, spill the tea, please. Spill the tea.
Sorry for putting you on the
I want to
spot.
know. I want to know as well.
Oops. I think because of my interest in women and because I have a daughter, I would say Conectadas. It has been so impactful, and to witness how women are empowered by a certificate, by giving them like mentorship and role models, and how can we really change the future and the opportunities for women, and also the importance of the decision making of the women because of their parents. And yes, I think it's gonna be Conectadas, but I have a second one, and is the banking and financial services program. It's Capital Juvenil, because we were able to change a whole uh, perception, a whole like guidance of the banking sector, and they are now hiring like technical students, graduates, uh, high school graduates, technical graduates. So I'm very impressed of the power of that program, and I'm very proud of the effort all the team made to achieve the goals. We have like 15 graduates now working in banking institution that was uh, like a year ago was unimaginable. So I think I will go for that too.
Thank you, Katia.
Thank you for the very interesting insights, Katia, on that. Okay, so I guess that's all the time for questions right now. And with that, we conclude our second webinar for Leaders of Today series. And I want to take a moment to reflect on the importance first of the Workforce Development Month and why it matters so much to all of us at IWF, because this month isn't just a celebration, it's also a call to action. And with Katia, with all that Katia said, this is more important than ever. It's about recognizing the value of skill building, investing in personal and professional growth, and creating pathways to success for young people everywhere. So Katia's story is a powerful reminder of how dedication, learning, and resilience can shape not just an individual or individual careers, but also the communities and organizations we serve. So Katia, again, thank you very much. We appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. Your experiences and insights truly embody the spirit of workforce development and show the persistence, the upskilling, and how leadership can lead to meaningful change. So, as for the rest of the IYA team, and on behalf of the co-chairs of the emerging leaders, we thank you for taking the time to be here, and we hope Katia's insights inspire you to invest in your own professional journey. And we look out for the next webinar recording coming soon, and enjoy the rest of the Workforce Development Month this September and the rest of your week and your day. Thank you, everyone, and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. Enjoy the rest of the day. Bye.